Hello again. They do say that it is a sure and certain sign of advancing age when you find that police officers look younger. This happened to me some years ago. What is more noticeable these days, though, is not just that they look young, but that they look like scruffy young yobbos. At one time, police officers looked respectable and smart. Many of them had served in the armed forces, and so that wasn't entirely surprising. They wore collars and ties, and there were strict rules about being clean-shaven and having hair of a certain length. In those days, the police were people who looked after their community, people to whom one might turn for assistance. Today, with their earrings, tattoos, rainbows, dark glasses, batons, tear gas, and all the rest of it hanging from their belts, I do not really feel that these are people whose interests coincide with my own, or that they will help me if my home is burgled or my car stolen. They have other and more important things to do, like hunting down those who make the wrong jokes about transsexuals or gay people. One thing which I have noticed is that in addition to getting younger, police officers are definitely getting smaller. This is no optical illusion. There used to be minimum height requirements, but these have all been scrapped now in the interests of equality. After all, women do tend to be shorter than men, so to expect them to be at least 6 foot tall to join the police is outrageous. And what about Bengalis, who are often shorter than white British people? The result is, although I'm no giant, I tower over many of the police officers I see these days, both men and women. In the thumbnail to this video, we see the logical conclusion to such a policy: a woman who is just 4'10" in height. Imagine her trying to break up a pub brawl on a Saturday night. Not that any of today's modern police officers would be likely to get embroiled in anything quite so undignified, you understand. A major preoccupation of modern police forces is, of course, the dismantling of racism and sexism, and ensuring that the police force reflects the community it serves. These are all rather more important than preserving the peace and detecting crime. Since it is white men who are the chief offenders when it comes to racism and sexism, one way of achieving this end is to tell them that they cannot join the new up-to-date and modern forces. This is what happened to a fellow who applied to be a police officer in West Yorkshire recently. The police told him that his application could not be considered because West Yorkshire Police is currently underrepresented by women and people from ethnic minority backgrounds. In accordance with the Equality Act 2010, we offer those from underrepresented groups the opportunity to apply at any time. In other words, until half their officers are women and there are a larger number of Pakistanis and Bangladeshis in the force, they don't want to hear from any white men. In the description to this video I give a link to a news item about this, and I invite viewers to consider what sort of state this country is in now when something of the sort could happen. It's one thing to remove discrimination and allow anybody to join an organisation, quite another to prevent people from doing so because they're working a quota system. Shocking business. I asked people to try and imagine only 20 or 30 years ago a police force which was actually refusing applications from white men.